Good morning, class. Standard 8 History. Today we are going to history sections. That is modern age in Europe. There are 3 chapters is there. Renaissance, Reformation, and industrializations. So first we will see Renaissance from 14th century AD to 17th century AD. What is a Renaissance? Renaissance means the rebirth, normally called rebirth. Now, introduction to the Renaissance. This is started from the European countries. What is the Renaissance? The term Renaissance is derived from the Latin word Renaissance. So that is become a Renaissance. So Renaissance indicates a revival of interest in the ideals of the classical civilization of Greece and Rome in the later medieval period. That is upper class, lower class type. It will make those who have land will become a landlord. They will give to some peasant farmers to cultivate, and under the farmer there will be the laborers to work in the field. So likewise, it is called a feudal system. The landlord cannot work. They cannot go to work in the field. The peasant and laborers only work. That is called feudal system those days. That is a boss type. Those who are having big land, they give to some landlord give to some small landlord, then cultivate. Likewise. The literal meaning of the word Renaissance is rebirth, as I told you earlier. So Renaissance started first in Italy, especially in towns like Venice, Milan, and Florence. Renaissance brought remarkable changes in Europe and marked the beginning of the modern era. Being at the trade route between Europe and Asia, the traders had become extremely rich and encouraged scholars and artists to repute. They developed a secular outlook as they were the first to come in the contact with the superior civilizations of Arabia and China. From Italy, Renaissance spread to other European countries. The salient feature of Renaissance. What is the features? Secularism, which broadened men's outlook towards life. Humanism, which projected man as central to aims of thought and civilizations. Optimism, which implied the belief that man could improve his own identity. All these concepts are interrelated and resulted in approach to literature and arts as a means of self-expressions. Now, causes of Renaissance. What is the causes? Capture of Constantinople, decline of feudalism, discovery of new trade routes, a spirit of inquiry, the invention of printing press. These are 5 things, causes. Now, capture of Constantinople. It was the capital of Eastern Roman Empire and had valuable manuscripts of the Greek and Roman writers. As in 1453 AD, Constantinople fell into the hands of the Turks. Many Christian writers left the place and found refuge in the various countries of Europe. It began a spread of Greek knowledge and culture and revived the interest of the people in the study of philosophy, art, science, etc. Now, feudalism. Feudalism means that, as I told you, from top to bottom level, from rich to poor. Feudal system broke down during the later medieval age. The measures were taken to curb the power of feudatory landlords. Church became powerful, which was also resented by many rulers, as such used to control the feudatory lords. The powers of the papacy were also challenged by many European monarchs, as Pope was considered God representative. Kings could not claim to rule by divine right. King Philip of France got the robe arrested in 1296, which added new chapter to the relation between the rules and the Catholic Church. Now, new trade routes. The Europeans began to explore the world through long voyages, like a sea route. They used the sea routes and discover many new countries of the world. Now, first, Portuguese exploration. The Portugal, who founded Vasco da Gama, found the Goa. Likewise. Next, Spanish explorations. First, you will see Portuguese explorations. Portugal was the first European country to employ its effort in the discovery of a sea route to India. Prince Henry the Navigator started a school for navigators between 1394 AD and 1460 AD. In 1488, Bartholomew Dias reached the Cape of Good Hope. From there, it became possible to reach the eastern countries. In 1497, Vasco da Gama sailed across the Indian Oceans and reached Calicut as a coastal town of Kerala. In 1498, Marco Polo visited China, Java and Sumatra. The book Travels of Marco Polo made Europeans familiar with the riches posed by the eastern countries. Now we will come to the Spanish explorations. Columbus, an Italian, set sail on August 3rd, 1492 to find a new route to east under the patronage of the Queen of Spain. He landed on an island of Bahamas on October 12, 1492 and named it San Salvador. He discovered Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Trinidad and coast of Venezuela. He reached the coast of Indies, but later it was found that it was not Asia, but a new land known as America after a voyage of Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci, this became America, United States of America, this name is. Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian sailor, followed the route of Columbus and made 4 voyages to the New World between 1497 and 1503. America was named after him. The Ferdinand Magellan, the Portuguese, made the first voyage around the world with the help of Spanish King Charles I. He reached with the highlands of the Philippines. Sir Francis Drake sailed around the globe between 1577 and 1580 AD. Now, spirit of enquiry. The number of scholars developed a spirit of enquiry and sense of curiosity among the people. They thought that human being should know the why and how of things. The following were the factors responsible of the development of the spirit of enquiry. Thinkers like Roger Bacon, Abelard, Thomas Aquinas, as also forerunners of Renaissance, revolutionized the thought process and laid great stress on reasoning. The Crusade brought the people of Europe into direct contact with the people of Asia. It widened their outlook on life and destroyed dogmatic attitude. Development of science created in spirit of inquiry and scientific temper. Such schools spread education in the later medieval period. Universities were also established at Oxford, Cambridge, Padua, Paris, Naples, and Salamanca, Spain. It spread the attraction towards education. The inventions broadened the mental outlook of the people. Like Roger Bacon contemplated the use of the horseless carriages and flying machines. Copernicus provided that the earth moves round the sun, and Galileo invented the telescope. Princes and the merchants patronized art and literature. Francis I of France invited Italian scholars to educate the French in the new learning. Henry VIII of England, Charles V of Spain, and other kings patronized scholars in their royal courts. Now, inventions of the printing press. This is important. Nowadays, the printing press is automatically everything is highly technology. High technology printing press. Nowadays, those days the hand press, making block in the hand. Before the invention of the printing press, handwritten books were scarce and costly. The first printing unit was installed by John Gutenberg at Mainz in Germany. The printing press made books easily available and cheap because of the availability of cheaper paper. Through printing press, education began to spread among the masses, and it helped the growth of knowledge and learning. Impact of the Renaissance on art. Art was dominated during the Middle Ages of the church, as cathedrals and churches were decorated, although subject were Virgin Mary and Christian giants. Theme of paintings was depictions of biblic characters and events. The artists of the Renaissance portrayed nature and life along with religious themes. Leonardo da Vinci was not only an artist of the first rank, but also sculptor, an architect, an engineer, and musician, and scientist, and a philosopher. Normally see the what do you call Mona Lisa picture. It is drawn by the Mr. Leonardo Vinci. This photo is there. The lady photos, lady face. His paintings of the Virgin of the Rocks, the Lost Supper, and Mona Lisa are the great masterpieces of art. Mona Lisa is a portrait of lady which is considered as the finest portrait ever made. Still, it is the world famous photograph, that is art. Now, a view of renowned personalities of Renaissance period in the field of art and literature. A father of Italian prose, Boccaccio, the first outstanding work, Dante, father of the modern political philosophy, Machiavelli, a political thinker, Machiavelli, a father of humanism, Petrarch, the famous for first outstanding work in the modern European language, Dante, D-A-N-T-E, the Protestant reformer, Martin Luther, a renowned dramatist, Shakespeare, the versatile genius, Leonardo Vinci. Impact of the Renaissance of the literature. Most of significant impact Renaissance of literature was the use of local languages instead of Latin as in Middle Ages. There was a change of theme in the literacy work. Earlier, the theme was spiritually including heaven, but during the Renaissance, the emphasis was on man and his problems. Such emphasis on man gave birth to a new movement known as humanism. One of the famous writers of this period was William Shakespeare. The playwright William Shakespeare is considered the greatest of English writers and one of the most talented creators in history. In 1613, he had made important innovations in all the major dramatic genres of the Renaissance period: comedy, romance, chronicle, and tragedy. Shakespeare utilized his knowledge of Greek and Roman classics when writing his play. Before the Renaissance, these texts had been suppressed by the Catholic Church. Impact of Renaissance on science. It was during Renaissance that a new learning gave birth to science. As tremendous growth in science during this period, and encyclopedia and scientific knowledge came to be published. One of the important scientists of this period was Copernicus. He was the first scientist to reject Ptolemy's theory that the sun, moon, and stars move around the earth. He proved that the earth revolves around the sun. So these are the Renaissance history. You learn this, who invented what for your examinations, and what is the feudalism, and the inventors' names. These two things, three more, the salient features as well as impact of the Renaissance, capture of Constantinople cities. These 5 things you have to remember for your exams. The rest of is just for your namesake. For exam, it will come for 1 or 2 questions in these chapters. Good morning, class. Stay safe, stay home.